G'day, I'm Dan.
And I'm Kristy, and we call Canberra our home.
We work, we parent, contribute to our community, living the Australian suburban dream.
With 4 kids, a dog, 2 businesses, large extended family, friends scattered all over the globe, we struggle at times.
But we do it all by embracing the crazy. And this helps us laugh, smile, cry, and brings meaning to our lives.
So join us and share the journey of our modern Australian family madness and embrace the crazy.
G'day, everyone.
Hey there.
We are talking today about knowing when to jump in and stand back.
It's such a tricky subject.
What does this even mean?
Because it's really hard, especially when you've got kids and something's happening and you want to protect them, right, Dan? It's a really hard thing to manage.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about, as parents, working out when you get involved and not to. Maybe some examples of where we've got it wrong.
There's a lot
this
of
is
those.
embarrassing. Look, why it's important. I guess why are we talking about it? Because it is important and it is something to think about. And how do you improve your awareness of it? And I wish I had heard this and known this a long while ago, to be honest, because I feel like I've gone through the experience of it, and I think that's part of our whole discussions, isn't it?
It is, and I don't think even if we were aware of it prior to jumping into a situation, sometimes your instincts take over and you don't have any control over what you're doing. So that awareness is really important, isn't it? That awareness of what you're doing and how that affects and influences your children's interactions with other people. So when do we jump in?
Look, I was just thinking about some examples just then when I know that we have jumped in, and that might be when your kids are playing with other kids or family members, and you think I should jump in here and help, get involved, have fun with them and all those things. And sometimes that's right. But I've found a lot of times it's really important to stand back, and it's very hard for me. I mean, I just love being involved, like if someone's kicking a footy with another kid, I want to do it because I love it. But, and why do you think I want to talk about this subject? Because I struggle with it. And yeah, I want to have fun with them and play, but you also got to realize that they've got to have their own experiences, and it's as much about them learning and connecting. If I'm the third wheel playing with their friends, they're going to be like, well, hang on,
what a weirdo.
Did I come over to play with Isaac's dad or someone else? Or whoever it is. So yeah, look, I think that's a really tricky one. So I guess in terms of how do you work that out, that's a hard piece. But I think if we come back to the awareness of it, that's the first starting point, is to go, all right, there's some times where I know that, I don't need to do anything or be involved. And I think a great example for me was with the cousins that always play with each other. That's and we've talked about this a few times in other contexts, but for me, that's such a great example where you can go and relax, and you can go and have fun and talk to your parents, your brothers and sisters and family, everyone else, because the kids are having a great time and they do not need you. And they do not need you to play with them. Even if they're playing by themselves, they're good. They want to do that.
Yep. And you really struggle with this. And I've noticed over the years you have been getting better. And I remember sitting at your parents' place, enjoying my glass of wine with your sisters and our sister-in-law, and you're out there and you're getting in there. I'm like, just relax, man. Take a breath. And I think you struggle with FOMO, fear of missing out. But you also struggle with, oh, well, they're having fun. I want to have fun too. And, oh, I don't know what to do. And you didn't know how to relax for a long time when we had small children. And I think that's also an awareness too of being able to go, no, they're safe, they're fine. But also I think there's another aspect to this, Dan. I think that there is you saying, when to jump in and get involved and when not to, but also when to let your kids take steps of their own and do their own thing and choose their own thing, because they're very reliant on us when they're little, and then they start making more and more steps to become independent, which is what happens in life. And I think it's really hard as parents to know when that should stop with family, with friends, with outside influences. It's really tricky.
It really is. And, it's not a stop as in
No.
stop, but it's
It's a
a
step
pause
back.
there, a step back there.
Yeah.
And, and I'll go a little bit deep here and say that as fathers, there's a lot of pressure on us. And I'm not saying there's not on mothers, by the way, but I'm just saying on fathers, there's a lot of pressure on us to be involved and there and supportive. And I know particularly when the kids were young, that was really on my mind a lot because I work a lot, and so my weekdays are not around them. Full stop, not around them, or a very short period every day. And so on the weekends and when we were having those times together, I always had this feeling of I've got to inject myself and I've got to be there because I want to be that great father, and I really do want to do that. And that is my number one priority, or one of my key priorities. And so I think that was always something on my mind. And shifting to having that feeling of, well, I'm still there for them, but I might not be playing with them right now, or I might not be interacting with their mates and them right now because that's not what's needed. But I'm there. I'm driving them around or doing whatever is needed to be able to still get the same outcomes. And I think I really got confused with that, and I reckon that's a common parent problem. But I know, I don't know whether it was around that time that it was a lot of discussion around fathers and their involvement, or maybe I was just had this antenna for it because I was in that zone. But yeah, that was a real challenge.
Perfect example just recently, actually, Dan, that comes to mind. We had our eldest son was doing something at school, at high school, and we were invited, and we were both going to go. And then it happened that one of our other children was sick on that day. So, we decided, we tossed up whether, could we leave the child at home unsupervised for a short period of time while we went to this thing at our eldest son's school, or should one of us stay at home? And Dan said, I'll stay at home. It's fine. And he even commented, our son does not need my energy in the room at that space in time. And you had a discussion with our son and you said, is it okay if I don't come? Mum's still going to be there. Good luck. I hope you go well. I can't wait to hear all about it. So you did offer that. You said, I'm not going to be there, but I can't wait to hear about it. I'll be there for it, and I'll be there for it every step of the way. And you were there because it was something that he had to prepare at home, and then he was presenting. And it wouldn't have been weird if we were both there because but as you said, your energy, your excitement for life is intense at times.
Here I am getting little tears because I didn't go to that, and I really wanted to, and then I get this little slap down right there. But no, and I think that's exactly what we're talking about.
That's
exactly what we're talking about.
You were like, because normally you'd be like, I'm there, and then I stay home. It could have been, well, I never get to go to these things. You always get to go to these things, Kristy. Can I go? But I think that was a point where you were like, okay, I just need to pause here. Someone else needs me. He doesn't right now because he has me, and I really liked that. Yeah,
and look, another example, and I remember this so clearly. It was my birthday, or actually it wasn't. It was our farewell when we were moving from Sydney to Canberra, and one of our kids was really, really young, and so they were playing in this play area. And I thought that I had to, as a good father, I should be there and supervise and be around them the whole time. I can't even remember. I can't believe I remember this, but I do. And, I probably didn't have as great conversations with all the people that we were farewelling because I was so focused on that. And, just silly things like that where you look back over time and you think, what was I thinking, or why was I like that? Because the kids are having the best time of their lives and they don't need you around, and they love mucking around with random people, of which there were lots of them. So, there's things like that where I really do think, okay, it wouldn't hurt for me to step back and for me maybe to be selfish and do some other things, and it actually helps our kids even more.
And similarly, with me going back to work, we've had to take a step back. Or I've had to take a step back and, not be involved so much at school things, and, there's a big thing, like there's athletics carnival happening next week on the day that I work, and I don't think there's ever been an athletics carnival that I haven't gone to. So, you know, in 8 years of being at school, I've always been at the athletics carnival, but this year I'm going to work. And one of our children said, "Oh, you're going to take the day off work?" And I'm like, "No, you guys will be fine. I can't come." And it killed me because I've always been there, but there's heaps of kids at school and heaps of kids around Australia that don't ever, their parents can never go to things. And how lucky have I been to be able to do what I've been able to do? So, you know, I think it's important so that's another thing that I'm having to take a step back from, because I'm putting other things not ahead of the kids, but, you know, work. And I'm also showing the kids that I can't just take the day off work when you're at athletics carnival. There's an expectation that I'm at work, and that's my responsibility for that day.
So why is this important? You know, why do we want to talk about this? Well, it's about our kids' growth and our growth as parents. And I think starting to work out the reliance and where you need to apply it, where it doesn't, it really provides freedom as a parent.
Yep.
That was one thing that really stood out to me, is when I started to work through this a bit more and see it, and, you know, see others around us who were either doing more or less, and you started to see it and you went, okay, wow, that it really can change your life in terms of the experiences that you have with others and your kids. But I think from a growth perspective for your kids, it's so incredible. And you can't hold their hand on every growth step. And this is such a hard thing, and particularly hard for me because I really want to, but you can't. And this is something that sometimes you've got to watch, sometimes you've got to see, hear, and they've got to go and do it, and they've got to go and learn. And you know, if you've got a good relationship, they're always going to come back and talk to you about it and share about it and things like that. And you can still be involved, but it's involvement in a different way.
And I think it's a good point in our children's lives for you to understand, for us to understand, well, particularly you, because it's mainly for you to understand that, because as they get older and as they become teenagers, they're going to need us less and less, they're going to want us less and less in injecting ourselves into their lives, and they need to be able to, as we were saying before, they have to know that we're there, and they have to know that they can always come to us, but to be able to take those steps away from us. And I feel like you're going to get emotional here because it's quite sad.
I thought I'd end on one story, and it's a recent one because it's still happening. So I feel like these stories are not about us changing and we're amazing and all those things. It's actually happening day to day. And a lot of these experiences help us get through this. But one of our sons in footy training is now getting to an age where they don't really need their parents around. Full stop. But I want to be involved. And they play footy, tag before they start doing all their rough stuff. And I love doing that. But about 2 weeks ago, I spoke to myself and said, I can't be here anymore. I don't think he wants it, and I don't think he needs it, and I think I'm actually getting in the way. And so I took off my footy boots and I went back, and I'll now apply that energy into our other younger kids where there maybe is a bigger need. But I had to readjust, and that was quite hard. But, you know, I think that awareness piece that I'm now building and growing is really hitting me.
Yeah.
And it hurts sometimes, and it's hard, and it's not what you expect or see or want, but it's best for them.
Yeah.
And so I know it's the right answer, and so I have stepped back, and now I'm doing other things.
Well done. That's amazing.
Yes.
See,
yes.
Awareness is so important.
Yeah, but I wanted to share because it's hard, right?
Yes.
And I think that's part of this is it's not easy, and it's easy to follow the default of what your heart says.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they really, really need it, so I should. But, you know,
they don't.
Or it's what I want. I think that's a big thing. And that's why I wanted to talk about that story, because that's what I wanted. You know, I love playing footy. And so any opportunity I get, particularly with those who are older, and they really get it and know what they're doing, like I love being involved in that. And look, there's lots of ways to harness that energy and opportunities.
Many.
So I get that, but I wanted to apply in a way that I wanted, but that's not the right way. And so I've learnt that, and I've moved on, and we're now in other areas.
Well done. Yep. So yeah, we've covered a bit, but I think it's important to have that awareness of what we're doing as parents and how it's influencing our kids and how it influences where they are and where they want to be. So yeah, hopefully you've learnt a bit today and you've learned something new. Feel free to send through some comments if you have anything to share. But we'd love to see you next time.
Keep embracing the crazy.
See ya.
See ya.